Good evening. Welcome to Liberty and Justice for All. Tonight we're going to talk about H.A.A.R.P. We've mentioned it a number of times on the show, but we're going to get into it in depth tonight. You know, every time the government has a major project that spends billions and billions and billions of your dollars and won't tell you exactly what it's about, especially when you go, it depends on what agency you go to, what answer you're going to get. And there just hasn't been any straight answers that I've ever had, except for reading the book H.A.A.R.P. That was authored by Jerry E. Smith, and tonight it's our pleasure to have Jerry right here in the studio with us to explain H.A.A.R.P. First of all, Jerry, welcome to the show. And what exactly does H.A.A.R.P. stand for?
H.A.A.R.P. is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. I know that's something quite of a mouthful. High frequency.
What did you just say?
High frequency active auroral research program. And a lot of people say, auroral, is that like the aurora? Yes, it is a great deal like the aurora. The project is to change the aurora.
Now, not the Buick aurora.
No, not
right,
the
okay.
Buick. The lights in the sky in the north and the south of poles.
Change them to what?
Well, that's a very good question. And one of the things that has been troubling researchers for a number of years, because researchers keep asking, what is it exactly you want to do? And the government keeps changing the story of what it is they want to do. Putting all their output energy into a spot that's about 2.5 miles deep by about 12 miles across at the very top of the atmosphere, about 90 miles up. Important point, now, because one of the things, by being able to move it around, they can actually use this. I know we're getting something technical here, but it can be used to do over-the-horizon radar. By being able to steer it, it violates the ABM treaty. My concern is they actually want to modify, they want to tune the Earth's magnetic field. If they, there's a lot of possibilities. As an environmentalist, the idea of fiddling with the Earth's magnetic field scares the willies out of me. If you saw the movie The Core, that's what the movie The Core was about, is H.A.A.R.P. fiddling with the Earth's magnetic field to the point where it actually stopped the core from spinning. I don't think that can happen, but there are some very, very definite possibilities. One of these things where we have been led to believe that science knows everything. And in fact, many of the sciences know diddly. Here in Nevada, we have a little thing called Yucca Mountain. One of the things we discovered in Yucca Mountain was that the science of hydrology doesn't know its backside from a hole in the ground.
Right.
Literally. The three leading hydrologists in the world were brought in to answer the question, does water go into Yucca Mountain or does it come out of Yucca Mountain? One of them said it only goes in, and another one said it only comes out, and another one said it does both.
Right.
Now we have hydrologists, scientists, using their science to come up with three completely different answers. So when you ask me what is the ozone layer, I guarantee you give me 2 hours on the internet and I'll come up with 35 different answers. Atmospheric enhancement. You got to love the military. You break something and you've enhanced it.
Right.
So we just got to boil off the atmosphere and hey, it's better now because we did it. So what ionospheric enhancement is a developing military, some of which could be good. There's something called artificial ionospheric mirrors. Oh, one of the things about H.A.A.R.P., one of the very first things anybody who's researching H.A.A.R.P. realizes is that if you heat the ionosphere, it will change its shape. It will go out into space. The original patents on this thing are for a ground-based Star Wars weapon system. That if the ionosphere goes out in space, you have incoming ICBMs. The incoming ICBMs hit drag before they were planned to, and you could deflect them or maybe destroy them. Weaponizing the atmosphere.
This has gone way too far. That it's got to this. If Brendan, I want you to put that graphic up when you get a chance of this antenna.
Yeah, we got some pictures of the antenna system. You can just go ahead and throw them up while we're talking.
Yeah, whatever, because I want people to know that this actually exists.
Right. A lot of people don't believe this, and that's a view of the field. You see, what you have there is a tower that's 73 feet tall, and at the top of the tower is an X. Those are dipole antennas that are crisscrossed each other, and they are in the high frequency range, and you can't really see it from that picture, but there's also a mesh screen hanging under them to focus what's coming off up into the atmosphere rather than going on the ground. This thing is designed to be built incrementally. That is, you build a little bit. They put up like 12 towers and wired them up to see if the gizmos they bought worked with each other.
Yeah.
Then they put up another 40 towers to see if they could get it to output the way they thought it would output. Then they put up another 70 towers to see if they could affect things in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Now this thing is designed to be built a little bit and then a little bit more and a little bit more. His rheumatism on above ground nuclear testing. Now H.A.A.R.P comes along and it's the easy hook to hang all problems off of. And so in my book, H.A.A.R.P, the ultimate weapon of the conspiracy, one of the things I set out to do was to try to get beyond the urban legend, to get beyond the myth, and actually nail down what H.A.A.R.P actually was capable of doing, and try to sort out all the nonsense on the internet.
There is something really wrong with this picture.
There is something really wrong with this picture. We know that it has tremendous environmental mischief. It has the potential to engage in tremendous environmental mischief. It also has the potential to do the opposite. If you can create artificial ionospheric mirrors, if you can generate beefed up, if you can beef up the ion level, you may also be able to beef up the ozone level. If there really is a hole in the ozone, which there seems to be, this may be a technology to allow us to repair the hole in the ozone. You know, so
Could be.
you know, so I'm not saying H.A.A.R.P is bad. I'm saying the guys who are running H.A.A.R.P are not leveling with us about what they're doing, and the evidence is damning. There are no biological scientists involved in the project. Everybody on the project either knows about the ionosphere or knows about radios. There's nobody who knows about brains. And yet we know that the human brain is a radio transceiver.
Right.
That the human brain is an electromagnetic device that responds to electromagnetic devices and electromagnetic fields. And that H.A.A.R.P is generating an electromagnetic field at exactly the same frequency that the human brain works at. We're talking about what H.A.A.R.P does is it injects energy. It sends energy from point A to point B, and like your microwave oven. Now, if you if you've ever cooked in your microwave, you know that sometimes the things you're cooking like splatter and pop.
Right.
Right? Well, H.A.A.R.P is designed to inject energy into the earth. Do we get splatter and pop coming out of the earth? Do we? What we do know is that virtually every time H.A.A.R.P has been run up to full power, there has been an earthquake within 72 hours. Now, I can't say that these earthquakes are caused by H.A.A.R.P. I can say that here's the calendar, here's the time.
Right.
H.A.A.R.P runs, earthquake. H.A.A.R.P runs, earthquake. H.A.A.R.P runs, earthquake. It begins to look like a duck quacking. You believed that man was just a hunk of meat. There was no soul, there was no spirit. You were just a package of stimulus response mechanisms. And so it was the right of the state, the necessity of the state to ensure that the citizenry acted properly. And so it was the necessity of the state to learn how to control the population. See, one of the things I have been looking at all my life is that here in America, America is founded on the belief that men and women do not need to be controlled, that we have the capacity to control ourselves. Yet throughout most of human history, there are those who believe the opposite, that we do not have the capacity to control ourselves, that they need to control us. And there are a number of these folks who believe that they need to control us. And so I look at, you know, if they believe that they need to control us, they're going to find ways to do it.
Right.
And so I spend about 100 pages in H.A.A.R.P, the ultimate weapon of the conspiracy, looking at how they have developed technologies and how H.A.A.R.P may be one of those technologies.